Welcome back to The Burning Question with me today, Boria Majumdar, consulting sports editor, India Today, Saurav Ganguly, former India captain, and Nikhil Chopra, former Indian cricketer. Boria, if I can, just quote this tweet of Harbhajan Singh, and he has said that, wow, @ICC, great treatment and fair play. No ban for Bancroft with all evidence, whereas 6 of us were banned for excessive appealing in South Africa in 2001 without any evidence. And remember Sydney 2008, not found guilty and banned for 3 matches. Different people, different rules. Boria, does this in a way also exposes the ICC's differential treatment for various countries? India being almost the biggest clout as far as the world cricket is concerned. Despite that, our players, former players say that they have been unfairly targeted, while Steve Smith gets away with just 1 match ban.
Sadly, yes. I mean, Saurav Ganguly was also making this point yesterday on our show, and they have a basis to say this. It is unfair that such things have happened, and such things keep happening. The ICC's laws aren't uniform. Some of the laws are archaic. Some of those laws do not even stand testimony to try and defend and uphold the spirit of cricket, and they are then applied very differently for people in different countries. That is the sad reality, which is damaging cricket no end. But to just go back to one point, Ankit, that Saurav was making, I know Steve Smith fairly well. He is likable. He is an extremely likable individual, but a likable individual with a poor moral fabric isn't good as leader. Now, he might well be a very good individual at heart, but if that individual then sort of crosses the line to try and win at any cost, then his moral fabric is seriously problematic. And if that is the case, which is now proven, last year DRS, he said this will not happen again. This time, this whole ball tampering, he says this will not happen again. How many times, Steve Smith, in 1 year? Last year, this time March, Virat Kohli said he was a repeat offender. The Australians said, oh, Virat Kohli is the villain, he is the Donald Trump of international cricket, right, and whatnot. So clearly, there is a point. Now, if a person is a repeat offender, i.e. Steve Smith, then clearly he doesn't deserve the right to captain Australia.
Dada, on the larger issue of ball tampering, is it that prevalent? We have seen many, examples, and especially with the cricket cameras all across the field. There have been too many players. Shahid Afridi was caught biting the ball off, and so on and so forth. There are numerous examples. Is it that prevalent, and is it that easy to get away with it?
I think there are more, I would rather put it this way, there are more legal ways to do it, which doesn't catch the eye. But what Steve Smith and Bancroft did yesterday was unacceptable. As Harbhajan Singh was saying yesterday, you do a lot of cross-seam bowling so that the cork part, not the seam part, the cork part of the ball keeps hitting the rough and gets scruffed up. You see fielders throwing from a distance onto the ground so that the ball gets scruffed up, and it's done more so in areas where the pitch is dry or the outfield is dry. But to actually take out a sandpaper or whatever it is and rub on one side of the ball, it's not been heard since the time television has taken over sports in the modern day world. Yes, you used to hear in the past that they used to use the cork of the cola bottles, the cap of the cola bottles to reverse swing it. But since television has become very, very prevalent and so prominent, these sort of things stopped existing. So I think it's a lot of stupidity on the part of Steve Smith, on the Australians, and whoever has agreed to do this, and to believe and live in this own world that you will not get caught. That's for me is the crux of the story. And I think Steve Smith and David Warner and Darren Lehman will have to bear this brunt for a long period of time.
Nikhil, if I can come to you very quickly, as a bowler, there might be temptations of this kind when you are, as Dada was saying, that the condition was against you, there was too much pressure, but ultimately it is about the spirit in which you play the game. We have had great spinners and fast bowlers, and those who have, in fact, Anil Kumble, look at the gentleman, the way he upheld the spirit of the game. In that sense, are Indian cricketers, made to pay much heavily for the smallest of the mistakes, whereas they still uphold the integrity of the game to the highest order?
Without a doubt, we're under the pump. If you remember, in England, Sachin Tendulkar was, picked on saying that he was picking the seam. But if you know Tendulkar, the man hardly has any nails, so he cannot be picking the seam. And I can tell you, Ankit, I'm here in Sydney. The entire country is shocked with the news coverage and also the news articles, everything that's happening. Shocked that this is not what Australia is all about. They've never played their sport in this sort of manner, where the entire support staff and the leadership group have planned, pre-planned, premeditated a process of cheating. I can understand what Dada is saying. They're under pressure to try and win, but this is not the way forward. Every sports person in Australia is making noise, and they're saying that the entire support staff, the captain, all must go. The Australian Prime Minister spoken to the chairman of the Cricket Australia. I'm sure once he comes back, the ban is going to be pretty long. Ankit, make no mistake about it.
Boria, if I can bring you in, do you think that when as you were calling Steve Smith a multiple offender, he has been a repeat offender. Though Virat Kohli gets a lot of blame for his aggression, but Steve Smith has also been seen as somebody who becomes very aggressive on the field. There have been that brain fade that he spoke about in the Indian tour as well. At this point of time, what gives him the confidence that he can get away with a thing like this? Is there a systematic problem with the way Australian cricket is being run, and there needs to be a change there as well?
Look, aggression has nothing to do with what he's done. Sourav Ganguly was aggressive, Virat Kohli is aggressive, but that has nothing to do with cheating. I mean, this is premeditated cheating, which at one level is stupid, which at another level is unethical. I mean, aggression has nothing to do with morality or being unethical. What happened here? And frankly, I can't explain it to myself. I mean, at lunch and break, and believe me, I don't think Darren Lehmann is out of it. He can't. I mean, if the coach at lunch and break is, by the way, do you know the size of the Cape Town dressing room? If you actually know, ask Sourav Ganguly, the Cape Town dressing room is the size of a sedan car. So if somebody discusses sitting there, clearly the other person will hear it. So to think that Darren Lehmann and the coaching staff are not party to this is to live in a fool's paradise. So everybody knew about it, everybody was in cahoots, and for some reason everybody had a collective brain fade. Now that is a problem, and this has put Australian cricket's credibility in jeopardy. Going forward, this stigma will not leave Steve Smith, will not leave Darren Lehmann, will not leave David Warner, and will perhaps not leave Australian cricket. That is why the punishment that Cricket Australia will have to give, or the sanctions that will be imposed, will have to be that level of severe. Saurav was talking about they'll win back credibility. How on earth can they do that? They can do that in one way. Please be transparent and do not hide facts anymore.
Right.
Tell us what exactly happened. Speak to Peter, Pat Howard and Ian Roy and whatever. Be transparent, owe up to your mistake, get the flag, serve the sanction, don't play the IPL if need be, and then seek forgiveness from the Australian cricketing public. Other than that, I see no other way these two people will win back any credibility.
Do you think, Dada, that either they should pull out voluntary of the IPL, or there needs to be a message that needs to be sent across to not only to both these cricketers, because remember, IPL is also a platform where many young Indian cricketers, budding cricketers are given a chance. At this point of time, can they be playing under the captaincy of, as of now, disgraced cricketers?
I think that's a foregone conclusion, to be honest. I don't think Steve Smith will captain Rajasthan Royals. The way this has turned out and the way everyone's reacted, for a franchisee like Rajasthan Royals, who's coming back after 2 seasons of the IPL, who already has a baggage to carry, will not have Steve Smith as captain. So that's my feeling. They'll replace him. Whether they replace him as a player or not, we'll have to wait and see. But as a captain, I think he will be replaced and somebody else will take over.
Nikhil, what is your view on how now should the Indian cricket, BCCI, and of course the IPL franchises, how should they react to this entire controversy?
I think it's very important that the franchises are spoken to, and I'm sure Cricket Australia will get involved as well. I was hearing Boria also speak. I don't think these guys would be captaining their respective IPL teams, and they should not be. That statement, that initial statement in the press conference was Steve Smith came out with, saying that I am very embarrassed, but I will not step down from the captaincy. He did not try and save anybody else. He said the entire leadership group knew about what they were conspiring to do, or they were looking to cheat. So does that mean the entire leadership group, whether it's David Warner, Darren Lehman, the entire support staff, everybody has to go? No, that statement, when it came out, was very shocking to me after he was caught, saying, yes, he knew about it, he was part of it, but he is still not ready to step down as captain.
Boria, for the future of Steve Smith, David Warner, of Bancroft, and of course Darren Lehman, how can they salvage it? You said that they should pull out themselves, but ultimately now the question would also be on Cricket Australia. People will be watching what they do next, and on the ICC as well.
Look, a former Australian captain who is highly respected told me this morning that if Cricket Australia allows Steve Smith and David Warner and Darren Lehman to remain in their position, when the Australian home season starts towards the end of the year, not one single person will go and attend the cricket matches. They said they will be playing in front of empty grounds. That is the kind of public outrage, quote unquote. Said Australian Cricket Board at this point in time is negotiating a media deal. That deal will fall through. Sponsors will not want to associate with Cricket Australia. So there are pressures at multiple levels. Now at these people, and he also went on to say, but you know what, when I'm driving a car, I don't want to get out of the car because I know outside people are saying, oh, here comes a cheat. Now that is a far bigger stigma. The perception that I don't play within the spirit of the game is something these people will have to live with. How do they counter that? How do they salvage? Time. Only time. First they have to accept the guilt, then they will have to serve the sanctions, they'll have to come out fully transparent and say what transpired, and they will have to ask for forgiveness from the Australian public and the world cricketing public at large. It won't happen overnight.
Right.
It cannot. Give it time, only then we will understand what happens. But for the moment, these people are in the dock, cricket is in the dock, Australian cricket is in the dock, and they will have to take some harsh measures.
Dada, a last word to you on this. Apart from the responsibility on Steve Smith, David Warner, individually, there is now a responsibility on the cricketing community at large, not only to come up with much harsher, in fact, stringent punishment for anybody indulging in an activity like this, but also to restore the confidence, because cricket, remember, is still trying to spread its wing in various nations across the globe.
Yeah, absolutely. I think ICC needs to act tough on this, and ICC needs to find a stronger punishment on this. One test suspension, 100% match fee is not a solution to this, and I'm sure they will find a way out, because it's not just the ball tampering, it's the orchestra, it's the mindset, it's the backroom work which has hurt people's eyes and people's mindsets. So that's the intention, and the mindset is a lot more demeaning than actually what has happened on the field. So ICC needs to be a lot tougher, and ICC needs to handle these issues very, very strongly. And I think Cricket Australia will do it. The way it's going, Cricket Australia will take strong steps and will be tough on Smith, Warner and Darren Lehman. What they do, we'll all have to wait and see in the next couple of days.
Saurav Ganguly, Boria Majumdar, Nikhil Chopra, thank you so much for joining me on the broadcast. Also thanks to Rasesh Vidnani and my colleague Shalini Lobo. Now the interesting thing to see here would be how Steve Smith in fact charts his career post this. He may be the best batsman, test batsman in the world, but of course not the best ambassador of the game of cricket.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.